So today we're here to talk about sports management and a little intro presentation to what sports management is as a whole. What is sports management? Sports management is the field of business dealing with sport and recreation. This includes marketing, management, law, education, and anything having to do with the business side of sports. A couple examples. You got a picture of soccer playing here. That's sports, and then you got another picture connecting the business side to the actual athlete, and how it ties in, and how half the person's a athlete and half the person's a businessman. It kind of connects the two of like how sports management affects the whole industry, as well as this bottom picture right here of all the business workers lining up on a track like athletes would at the Olympics running a track meet. Some history. So sports management as a career has existed as long as we've had sports teams, but didn't really exist on the academic discipline, so schooling, until like 1950s. And it wasn't prominent in many colleges until the 1980s. When the National American Society of Sports Management was founded in 1985 to in 1986 academic year. Since then, it has grown a career with more students and programs year by year and more career opportunities in the business side of sports. And is currently a $500 billion industry. So here's our lovely Caleb to present a little timeline of the history.
All right, so we got the start, really didn't exist, and then it starts growing. It doesn't become prominent until the 80s. There we kind of get it as a major. Then we get NASM created 85, 86 academic year. From there to the present, it's grown hugely. It's a major, it's a career, it's people's lifestyles, And then lastly, what can you do to help grow sports and rec management? Have it be your major, have it be your career, talk to people in the field. Even as a player, you can help grow it. So
other history behind sports management. So here are some examples. You got the stadium of Alabama Crimson Tide, their football team, one of the greatest football teams to ever go around in the history of sports. They are very dominant. This is a picture of a very old cleat. I don't know what exact sport, but it has been used. Cleats are a type of
like a soccer.
Cleats are a type of equipment that is used in most sports on the field. It helps for traction, and they originated way back then, and they've advanced throughout the whole career of sports to what they are today with the new technology that are in them. And then another picture is a very old picture of two athletes getting ready for what it looks like hurdles on a track. So where can a sports manager work? Sports manager can work in different organizations in sport adjacent fields like technologies, product development, outside marketing, sales, sports law, and directly related organizations like sports team, leagues, and players. So overall, it's very connected to the business side of things. There's a lot of business type of studies that can connect to sports management and apply to the major, such as marketing and sales listed above. It really is just how it connects to selling a item on a market, kind of like cleats or other equipment, or even selling a ticket to a game like the NFL. Some of the levels that you see in sports management are like the NCAA. You got D1, which offers scholarships, full rides, lots of benefits, lots of opportunities. That's like your main level. D2 offers scholarships as well and is allowed to, but it's a little bit lower level. And then D3 here at St. Joe's, unfortunately, athletes are not allowed to get scholarships legally. You have to do it through academics. You can't do it off. You can't do athletic scholarships through performance on the field. Some examples of pro leagues are the MLS, which is soccer. It's very huge in Europe and in America. MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL, and as well as the NAIA in minor leagues and certain pro leagues like the MLB. Sports managers primarily work with organizations at these levels, meeting their goals and making these decisions effectively for the success of the organization based on their values and beliefs. So they're making decisions and working with the teams to make sure that their teams output the most they can and succeed as a whole. So here's some examples of these leagues. So you got all the NFL teams in this top left corner shown above. You got the NHL logo. It's the official logo of the whole league itself. You see branded on a lot of sports like gear and fan gear. The bottom left, you got pictures of MLS. There's a coach here, and as well as another team. And then on the right side would look like a picture of what a facility might look like in these pro league levels. It's a very big industry. It's a very big market. So obviously they're going to have a lot of fancy areas like this in these buildings and facilities.
To add to what Wolfie just said, the middle one is the CANVB. I put that there so it can resemble that national organizations that you can work with as a sport manager.
So what takes up sports managers' time? It's mostly spent working with teams within an organization, from sales, marketing, technologies, coaching, trainers, anything that could do with a team. So managers really have to be good at communication, organization, and the organization process. So making these decisions requires a sports manager to follow the ethical code and follow the principles of the organization that they work for. So that would be the team or the league that they work for. These include all of the following goals, principles, but the sports manager's goal is to get the most in an efficient and cost-effective way. So 2 T's, time and teamwork. Teamwork is very vital, I think is the right word I want to use, in getting your job done and what you're trying to accomplish in time. You want to get done as quick as possible, but also while doing the best work that you can possibly do. So the tasks of a sports manager, they perform many tasks, a lot that people outside of the job don't necessarily see. So planning, a big one, define the organization's goals, find appropriate means to achieve them, setting courses of action. Organization plans can change and are not set in stone. That brings us right into organizing, putting plans into action. The manager determines who does what task. So if you think like maybe as a coach, who plays, who starts, who comes to practice and does what at practice, that type of thing. It also develops charts and positions for the tasks to do. So that would be like a practice plan that your coach would maybe put out before, so that you had an idea of what you were going to do at practice coming into it. And then leading, action part of the management process. You want to get people to follow you. Involves assigning the tasks and responsibilities to employees. Managers also must handle any problems and difficulties in the workplace. So you can even take this and bring it down to in the team aspect of it, between athletes, a captain. You could think of them as, a sport manager. They're leading you, they're helping coach plan, helping coach organize, and then also in the next one, helping evaluate. So measuring and sharing progress toward an objective, which if it's coming from like a captain, that would be winning. You want to win the most games, same as your coach wants to win the most games, and everybody above your coach as well. Progress is accomplished by employees effectively carrying out their duties. So if during practice, you're not doing your duties and effectively accomplishing your tasks for that day, then you're not helping make that progress. So everybody's evaluating that and, kind of looking at it like, what is this kid doing or something like that. So then establish reporting standards, develop performance standards, design reward system, and make sure praise is as loud as criticism. So, nobody likes a coach that just yells at them and tells them what they're doing wrong. You like to hear when you're doing something right. But at the same time, like that reward system as an athlete is playing time. So everybody wants to push harder to get more playing time. So that really helps. And, using like the idea of a team just kind of brings it to relate to somebody that might not know much about like a management level type of spot, and kind of helps. I don't know what's the right word for that. I just like understand what a manager's task would be. Yeah. So next, the 6 pillars of a sport manager: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. All these are the big 6. There's definitely more than that, as in anything. But if you focus on these 6, you will succeed in anything you do, but definitely in sports management. So then you got the ethical decision-making process. Number 1, what's the problem that needs to be addressed? Number 2, gather all the information. Number 3, explore code of conduct or standard in the job. 4, examine your own beliefs. Consult with peers and others who may have experienced this. 6, list your options. 7, look for a win-win situation. That's really big because something might come up and you don't want to fire the person right away. You know, they do a really good job and they just maybe messed up one time. So when you find that win-win, you know, like they get reprimanded, but you don't have to fire them. You look good doing your job. They still look good doing their job in the future. 8, ask yourself, how would your family feel about your decision if it appeared on the internet? This is a big one for me. You know, if I made the wrong decision, my family would definitely criticize me for that. Or maybe criticize isn't the right word, but they would definitely talk to me about it and be like, why'd you make this decision? And maybe they'd help me come to understand if I made the right decision or not. 9, can you sleep on it and not make a decision right away? This is huge. Sometimes, you know, you have to make that split-second decision. Something that somebody does could be just so bad that it can't be stood for. But sometimes, you know, you can take a night, maybe even take a couple days and think about it, and then make a more logical decision. 10, make your best decision based on the information you have. 11, reflect and evaluate on your decision. I think 11 is really big for this. You know, like if you just kind of make your decision and never think about it again, you're never going to know if you made the right or wrong decision, or if this happens again, if you would make a different decision. So that's a big one. So, you know, we just got sports managers working. Bottom left, we got some of their responsibilities, which we just went over. But in both the other photos, you know, you can see they're working as a group. That's huge. If you can't work with a group, then you're never going to be able to be a sports manager, because that's probably 99% of the job is, you know, delegating and working with your other employees, your coworkers, everything like that. So sport adjacent fields. So previously mentioned, you know, sport managers can work in adjacent fields. This is a hugely important role and also a huge business with sports teams. So basically, like some of them you can work in are marketing, sales, law. I know here at St. Joe's we have a sports law class, which I believe we're all going to be taking fairly shortly. Product development, sponsorship, cooking, traveling, and amenities, just to, you know, list a few. But, you know, like traveling and cooking, you know, like those pro teams that go everywhere, or even those Division I teams, like they need people that go with them. So I think another one we could even add here for at the college level would be like tutors. You know, that's a big one. You know, like D3 teams, you know, if we go away for a little bit, which we tend not to, we don't take tutors with us. You know, we just don't have that kind of cash or resources. But, you know, if you're at a D1 team and even some of the bigger D2 schools, they go away on, you know, trips for 4 or 5 days at a time because they go out, they practice before or whatever, and they need to bring those tutors because they're missing classes. So even some of these fields also include major players in sports like Nike, Adidas, sports agents, and some major factors in sports like Title IX contracts, broadcasting rights. So yeah, I think that's about it for adjacent fields.
Absolutely. So here we have a couple examples of adjacent fields. One I put in the upper left corner is product design. It's a major player in sports. Big. Like if you think Nike, Adidas, everything they're doing towards the innovation in sports is product design and going towards that. Here we have the Sports Lawyers Association. That's second to the right of that. Big part of sports, always fitness and training and all of that stuff. Bottom left, we have event and facilities management, which is a big player in sports, especially because every team, pro team, think the best fields, best facilities, best opportunities possible for them to grow and succeed. And then bottom right, we have some examples of sponsors on soccer kits, which is $1 million business, big money in sports. So Chevrolet, for example, had a $64 million deal just for that season with Man United, which is amazing.
Now, with like, you know, the U.S. pro leagues, like the NBA, NHL, NFL, they're starting to get more deals with advertisements on the jerseys. That hasn't been big, but you know, you can take away from things that other pro leagues are doing and bring that into whoever the organization you're working for. You know, maybe you need more money through advertisements and not through marketing. You know, maybe you're packing the stands, but you know, you're still not making a ton of money, so you get those advertisements in there, and you know, you can change your business.
Absolutely, well said. So lastly, along with sport management, along with our major, it's sport and rec man. So recreation management is the other half of our major. It focuses on management of recreation activities. This includes youth club sports, activities for senior homes, colleges, or any form of living communities, recreational adult leagues, and organizing outdoor or indoor activities in any capacity. The key points being that the activities are for recreation rather than as a profession. For example, if you're in a recreational adult volleyball league, that would fit into recreational management sport. Well, if you were in a professional or even a high school level volleyball league, that would be considered sport management. Big part of this is regarding the competitive nature of it. So like, even if you're playing at a college level and you're thinking about it, if you're playing as a D3, D2, or D1 athlete, you're really competitive in it and you're putting everything in your heart to do it. Like for myself, if I'm playing in my summer rec league, I could really care less if we win or lose. What I care about is what I'm getting out of it and that I'm having fun with my teammates and others that are around me.
Organizing things there, that's summer camps are recreation, it's not, you're not doing it for profession, whatever, but I think that's another pretty vital part of it because that's just another sport adjacent field you could work in.
Absolutely. That's pointed out in the next slide. So we have upper left-hand corner, we have a summer camp director. This one's clearly for more adult ages. So it could be just a day visit where they're having fun, but at a camp, anything like that where you're leading a group of people in a recreational activity is big. Bottom left-hand corner, we have a wheelchair basketball rather, league. Definitely a lot of fun, but definitely recreational management unless they're playing in the Olympics and stuff like that, which is always amazing to see. Yep, definitely. On the right-hand corner, we have a zipline instructor. So being a recreational instructor in any way like that, of course, requires some separate training, but it's a big player in recreation management because anybody can go and do it. Like I know for myself, I went and did a zipline course when I was like 12, but that's recreation management. Anyone owning that facility or participating in it is participating in this field. And then bottom right-hand corner, we clearly see a man directing people at a college or university, which is big players in recreation management and recreation like that.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of want to go back to that slide.
Yep.
Yeah. So kind of going back to that, like rock climbing or the zip lining stuff. A lot of the times, like those places are rec management, but a lot of those places are ski resorts at the same time. So if you flip that back to the winter, Wolfie and I are big skiers, so flip that around, and that's sports management in the winter. The whole business changes. I don't know if you want to add anything to that or not.
No, definitely. You definitely see mountains and resorts profiting off of their range and availability of them to be able to sell things on the mountain. You see like roller coasters, zip lines, a lot of ropes courses, kind of just recreational activities that they can take advantage of and maybe make a little bit of money off of in the summertime instead of just closing down and not really offering anything.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well said. Last slide here, we have jobs recreation management. So the jobs in rec man are often at university, colleges, camps, or living communities like a senior home. Some examples would be recreation at a recreation director, at a college or university, our intramural manager at a school. So for example, our intramural manager here at campus is Coach Pike, our soccer coach, my personal coach, great guy, but definitely big part of college life is being involved with that intramural life. Definitely something I've really enjoyed. So another example is a camp director. So just like Caleb was pointing out earlier, working at those summer camps, directing children and organizing those activities for them, big part. And then again, a zipline instructor or instructor of any recreational activity. So this can be kayaking, rock climbing, skiing, anything like that. And of course, ski resorts are a big player in the recreational and pro sport activity, just like we were pointing out.